I understand how powerful that was for those first Christians, but what does it mean for our churches today?
It means the same thing for St. John's by the gas station, 4 marks. Let me chart it out. We spoke about Acts 2 and Acts 3 and 4, and here we have them. Acts 2 represents the in-reach of a local congregation. And the question is, what do these gifts mean as they express themselves in a typical congregation? But there is an outreach as well as an in-reach. Indeed, Acts 3 and 4 are the early churches designed for even our own congregations today. And here we have the 4 signs of the Spirit: telling the story, doing the story, being the story, celebrating. Now, if we fill in the blanks, the inner life of the congregation that's telling the story involves preaching and teaching. This is the memory of the body of Christ that the office of the pastor is particularly responsible for. But there's a telling that goes out beyond the church as well as within the walls of the church. So here we have evangelism, telling the story outside. Doing the story, well, that is care for the brothers and sisters within the Christian community. And this motion of care reaches beyond the 4 walls of our congregations also in what we'll call social service and social action. This is the outreach of the church for those who are victims on the Jericho roads of the world that swirl by the doors of our congregation. Being, the sign of the Spirit that's within the church, is a life together. A life together of a congregation within. But the life together, giving John and Jane Doe back their name and their faces, is a ministry for the church beyond the walls. So there is a life together which the church nurtures and nourishes outside as well as within. And the 4th mark of the church, celebrating, is of course the life of worship. Praise and prayer within the congregation, sacrament and ordinance. And celebrating outside the doors of the church, we might call that festival. What we do on Easter Sunday morning when we have an Easter sunrise service and all the folk can see the gifts of art and music and song beyond the doors of the church. The church is a chapter in the storyline of God's deeds that we've been tracing out. What Christ has done for the world is now passed on to the world through this community born on the day of Pentecost. Christ comes to us now through his body on earth, the church, the body of Christ, warts and all, because the church is made up of ordinary people like you and me with all of our foibles and failings. Where is the church? It is where every week the story is told and celebrated, where the word is rightly preached and the sacrament rightly administered. As the Reformers put it, the body is healthy and strong where the story is lived out in deeds of mercy and justice and in life together. The 4 signs of the Spirit that keep the body of Christ alive and alert: preaching, teaching, worship, sacrament, doing the deed, and being a life together in love and service.